Hey, what is up, everybody? This is episode 14.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in again.
Tech Yeah Gaming.
You know, Tech Yeah Gaming is such a great name. I'm really proud that you came up with that.
Thanks. I'm proud of you. You're a part of it.
Me too.
I don't know what I was gonna. I went all over the place with that one, but I'm glad you're a part of it, and I'm glad everyone listening's a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, guys. This is a podcast where you can never guess by the name, but we talk about video games. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on in the world of games? What we like, what we don't like, what's breaking news.
And I realized
the good, the bad.
Like last week, I realized we never introduced ourselves on anything.
Yeah.
So I'm Tony. I'm here with Leo.
I'm Leo.
We are avid gamers, tech professionals.
Yep.
Leo's actually a writer.
Yeah. I write about games and technology.
He writes about games and technology. I'm actually a tech marketer.
Yeah.
So I'm probably like the worst kind of person.
But you are a very avid gamer, and you're very knowledgeable.
But I'm a very avid gamer and quite the nerd in in kind of the business of gaming.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that space.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming and being here with us and listening to our show. And first things first, I got a few entries for our little contest.
I was about to ask, how did that go?
It went pretty good. I got a couple emails. I got a couple tweets. By a couple, I mean two, but more than two. I got at least three, and
two's a couple.
Less than 100. So you can just guess how many. It was a lot. It was a total.
Let's say like 98.
A whole lot of stuff happened. So we got those. I decided we will do that on the after show.
Okay.
So there will be a video that I will put up probably early next week that will have that. But if you win, I will have contacted you.
Yeah.
Before that. And honestly, even if you lost, there are so few, I will contact you as well.
You will probably find out and know.
It's only fair. And I will say I hope the person that is local wins because I don't want to ship things. But regardless, let me get into some of this mail first. We'll do the mailbag.
Please, I would love that. I wish we had like a paper sound. But we don't.
I could cut something in.
Yes.
I might just to cover up you making that terrible noise.
What's this noise?
You need to stop.
The audio poison that
it
is
doesn't
that
sound
noise?
like mail. Like it doesn't sound like paper
Listen,
at
nobody
all.
knows what paper sounds like anymore.
Okay, so this is actually this isn't from last week. This is a week older because it was one of the contest entrants. Hey, Tony and Leo. Just listened to your podcast this morning at work. I look forward to listening to them every week. Well,
Nice.
Thank you.
That's good to hear.
I've been looking at getting the Division 2, but I just can't get myself to buy it. My main hesitation is I don't have any friends that play it. I heard it's much better to play in a group than alone. Playing with randoms doesn't seem super appealing either, as I would rather have a consistent group to play with. Would you recommend I get the Division 2? Any thoughts, suggestions are appreciated. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Alec B.
Alec, thank you so much for sending this in.
Such a nice email.
Well, should we answer or should we keep going? Because, I mean, we should answer either way, but...
Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear your take.
I've been playing the Division a lot.
I have a unique take.
I've been playing the Division 2 a lot.
I know.
I have been playing it co-op almost exclusively, which is, as far as I can tell, the way to do it. It's so much fun playing with someone. That said, I have played by myself a little bit, and it's definitely not a single-player game in terms of how it's designed. I think it's worth trying, but I don't know if I don't think I would have played it as long as I have if I was just playing by myself. And I, like you, dear listener, do not enjoy playing with random people. That said, the way the matchmaking works is pretty seamless. You literally just press a button and someone will come. So it's not, you don't have to go through a big application process or anything. You can also just drop into other people's games. You don't have to talk to them. It doesn't really require a lot of communication over headset if you don't want to. It's not quite that tactical. So I would almost say just get the first one for like $5. Play it a couple hours, and if you like that, if you feel like you're getting it, the Division 2 is better, but it's very similar. So that would be I would say get the first one, treat it like a demo, play 3 or 4 hours, see what you think, and then from there decide if you think it's worth playing by yourself. Also, there are clans. Maybe you can meet, maybe you can make some friends.
Make some new friends. And my sweet Alec. I have been in the same position as you. I've been on the fence about Division 2.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about it before we started.
It's launched. I came downstairs and Leo was actually playing the Division 2, and I was like, I should buy this game.
It is fun.
I will say, because I played the Division 1, it's hard to justify, like, I guess I'll spend another $60 for more Division. But, there's no, expansions to buy this year. So it's not as crummy as it might seem. But I I'm kind of, I feel like I'm a little different, right? Like, I like group play, but also I almost prefer solo play. I'm kind of a jump in, jump out type.
Yeah.
And so I do kind of, I think games like The Division speak to me for the ability to kind of treat other players like AI when you don't want, when you want to, and engage with them when you want to as well. Like, I will sometimes say, sometimes the social pressures and anxiety of being strictly tied to a group that wants to play is also overwhelming for me at
that
times.
does not sound interesting to me at all.
So sometimes I'd like to be able to just like, I know you guys are playing, I know you guys want to do this content, I just kind of want to play alone, and you know what I mean. So I take that as a positive in the game. Like, you can experience how you want. You don't need to be in a group. There's some things you will need to have like made groups for, and how about this? If you buy it, I'll buy it, and we can both play it.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds like a good idea. Do you know how the scaling works? I've never actually tested it.
I've heard that it's pretty. Scaling is one of the things I like hate the most in those games.
Yeah,
but I've heard it's pretty aggressive as far as making sure that you can, regardless of level, play the same content.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like scaling is so poisonous to that style of game, but it's just the way it is. So, because it's like you should if you've put in all this time, you should feel and actively be stronger.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Than people that haven't, and I feel like when they remove that illusion, or they adjust you out of that being the case, it takes away from some of the like, oh, I did all this, I earned all this. I
am powerful.
Yeah, it's like
I have become God.
It was kind of my problem with Destiny 2 in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You quickly realize like the game never changes. Like the gameplay always feels the same because you're always just strong enough to kill everybody.
Yeah. But no stronger.
But
you're never strong enough to like nuke everybody.
Yeah.
Just strong enough to be able to take them out.
Yeah, and after you beat the game and the enemies can't scale the gear score, like sure, you start to get too strong, but like throughout everything else, it's just like you're always just a little bit stronger than everything, and it's like, oh, okay, it's also tuned. Like nothing feels authentic when it's also tuned.
Especially something like this that's constantly patched.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Second email. This is from our number one fan. His name's Andy, and he is, for our number one fan, called you Theo instead of Leo.
I always liked the name Theo, so I'm not even mad because Theo's an awesome name.
I'm going to say it's an autocorrect. I don't know why Leo would autocorrect to Theo.
Maybe he has a friend named Theo.
Maybe he was just thinking of a Theo.
Hey, man, I don't blame you. It's a good name.
Yeah. Wanted to let you guys know that I look forward to your gaming podcast every Friday.
Nice.
Oh, wow, that is nice. I wanted your guys' thoughts on why EA seems to have a difficult time in creating a good live service game. Is it due to the bad rep they have as a company with gamers? Is it because they release half-baked games? Or maybe it's because they bail on their games too soon. Ubisoft has had an amazing track record with Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and even For Honor. It shouldn't be too hard to take a page out of their playbook on creating a good live service game and supporting it for years. Masturbation and salutations, your number one fan.
It's a good sign off.
Yeah.
Kind of confusing, but I dig it.
It is a little confusing, but what's your take on that?
Well, I would say, I know Anthem's bad, right? I think it's fair to say. Anthem is not going well by pretty much any metric. But yeah, it has. aren't all the Battlefields pretty people like those, don't they?
Sort of. I don't think the latest Battlefield did very well.
I think it did okay, though. But Battlefield 1. Oh, like what live service games have they dropped? Let me put it that way.
I can think of one.
What is it?
Anthem.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? Like recently.
What live service games have they kind of championed, right? Like,
yeah, I guess that's kind of my point. I don't really know that I don't know if that's what they're known for. I think they are known for.
I think they want their games to become live service games, right? I don't think that they are capable or invested enough to. Like, I think Star Wars was supposed to.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
More like a live. I think even these like FIFA and Madden are supposed to feel like live service games, right? Yeah. But I think the reality of what those games become is a slot machine
roster update.
Yeah, a slot machine with a multiplayer and single player segment, not this like vibrant social space, And I think that's a bigger issue. I think that the real hiccup with EA is they don't know how to kind of focus their development, their attention on creating socially fun, engaging ways to interact. They want to create decent games.
Yeah.
But the only kind of online thing is buy some stuff so you're better than the
supermarket,
people.
Super sales focused.
Yeah, so you're better than the other people that want to play this game. But
instead of encouraging social interactions, encouraging competition through paying.
Yeah, pay to win competition.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
And I think that's kind of, their hiccup. I think, what Ubisoft does is, I think, long-term profitable for their brand, but it's not sexy, right? Like, it's not.
It's kind of, you're right. It's kind of really straightforward. It's like, hey, let's make a game. People might not like it when it comes out. Let's make it better over the next few years. And then they just do that. But you're right. There's nothing like it. And I'm sure on their stock and their ROI metrics, it's not super sexy. It's not like, boom, look at that. Whoa,
Yeah.
There's no Apex Legends from Ubisoft, but they just have this consistent sort of tick upwards. And
you got to have the right kind of board of directors to support the fact that you're like, we're going to launch a game. It might not sell very well. We're going to keep supporting it. And
it might not even review well.
Yeah, and slowly trying to kind of earn back the good graces, earn back those customers, and we'll get it to a profitable state.
Yeah.
Right? That's a hard sell.
Totally.
Right? It takes, I think, a unique type and a unique company to be willing to engage like that with a product. And EA is not that company.
No, EA is not. They're very much like, all right, on to the next.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say Activision's not that company either. Most
companies
of
aren't
the
that
companies
company.
in especially this space have no interest in that type of relationship with the consumer.
Yeah. No,
Right?
I think you're right.
And I think that's what makes Ubisoft so unique is they're willing to look past this quarter's revenue to find success.
Which,
right?
again, you wouldn't think is such an outlying concept, but it is.
Clearly it is.
Apparently it is, yeah.
I mean, you can see, like, even with all these layoffs and stuff, right? Like, I think it's natural for, in business in general, not even just gaming business, to respond to, to an underperforming quarter with layoffs to try and adjust your P&Ls, right? Like, it's the way business works. Like, we didn't do very well. We didn't hit our goals. The quickest and most affecting way we can influence our P&Ls and have a better story to tell is to lay people off, right? People are expensive.
Yeah, they
and
are.
if you can take, $1 million of hard costs out of the equation, like, that's going to bring every percentage on your sheet up, and it looks way better.
Yeah,
and,
it's easy.
It's easy.
Easier.
It's easy. It's easy, right? Yeah. And it's not a long-term success strategy, and it's not something you can protect these employees with. Everyone, it drives me nuts when everyone's like, "Oh, you got to unionize so this doesn't happen." Unions will not save you from this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think there's plenty of reasons why some companies should unionize, and I think that there is an argument to be made if that's what people want to talk about. Like, but that is not going to save you from.
It's not going to save you from layoffs.
It's not going to save you from being in a company that's not succeeding, wanting to trim the fat.
Yeah.
And
that being the first easiest way to do that. And the most instant way to boost all our numbers. I think you're right.
In a lot of ways, the fat's you're just going to have to trim more fat if you've unionized these employees so that they're collectively bargaining for, better benefits, even if they deserve them, right?
Yeah.
Or higher pay scale or a better compensation package. It's like, oh, we got to trim more fat when we don't succeed.
Yeah. All at once,
right? I mean, I've worked in union jobs. They didn't save the day. Like, I think everyone thinks that.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, and I think everyone thinks that, like, day by day is going to be so much better when we have the protections of our union overlords and collective bargaining. But that's not the case. A lot of it is very frustrating to interact with.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a different set of problems.
Yeah, I mean, the story I always tell is, when I was working at grocery stores, like, if they ever caught wind of you doing something that wasn't in your JD, you'd, like, get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, I think part of succeeding in the world of business, even as simple as a grocery store, is, like, trying to help out.
Yeah, especially in something like game development where everyone wears a lot of different hats.
And I remember my friend, like, one of my friend co-employees, like, someone was painting, those like "don't step here, you'll get your nose broken by a door" lines.
Yeah.
And he like helped him for a minute, and it was like a scandal.
Yeah.
Like in the office, you know what I mean? It's like, did you know that they had him paint? And it's like, oh, I didn't really paint. I was just helping him, like tape it off.
That's even worse.
Yeah, they're like, you're not qualified to be taping. You know what I mean? And it was just such a huge ordeal, and it was just like, oh, this is what we've kind of agreed to. And I don't think all unions are bad. I'm not saying unions are bad.
No, of course,
general.
it's just a little more complex than going from.
It's a complex and nuanced situation,
especially again for something as sort of insanely complex and artistically focused as game design.
Yeah, it's
unions,
not a
Yeah, unions wouldn't be a fix-all.
It's not a catch-all.
There's not a place for them, and like you said, there's a conversation to be had about it, certainly, but it is not.
Yeah.
It's not like we have unions now. Everything's fixed.
Yeah, it's just funny. I think
now EA is making good games, and everyone's happy.
These layoffs, you just see kind of people be like, "Oh, it's just this is we need to talk about unions now." And it's like that's not what this signifies.
Yeah,
I think when you see things like, and that's something we can talk about. Epic, what I mean, and I didn't take it granted. I didn't read the story about Epic.
Yeah,
but it looks like there was a lot of crunch around keeping this high-paced release schedule.
Yes.
For Fortnite.
Correct.
And I think those are discussions where unions can really benefit what's going on there. I think that I think the real issue is that people love making games, and you're not going to stop them from wanting to put so much into it. But yeah, it was a pretty hot story this week. The Anthem story or the Epic story.
And it's funny because it is a hot story, and it was a well-written story, but it's actually not that new. I mean, we've basically been hearing this story from
forever. Yeah.
From not just forever, but especially recently from just about everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it'd be more interesting to hear an article from a extremely successful game where everyone's super happy and is treated great and no one's crunching. Like that would be news at this point, I think, more so than, hey, guess what? It takes a lot of people working a lot of hours, probably more than they should, to make something as successful as Fortnite and something that's so constantly updated.
Yeah, and I think the thing is like these people want these games to succeed. Like honestly, like part of me really kind of cringes at, and it seems like it's always Kotaku and Polygon, like interviewing all these former employees to cure their gripes and then writing a story about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, every disgruntled employee, get your disgruntled friends over here. We'll give you all each $500. Tell us what sucks about this company, and then that's their story. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, I think these companies, if they don't want this kind of bad news, should, create a better environment, right? I think that the easy solution is don't do that. You know what I mean? But I think the truth of it is a lot of these people want to put this kind of heart and soul into these games because they love them and believe in them, right? And I think, to me, when I see things like this, it's like yeah, let them do this, but just compensate them for it, right?
Well, that was the thing, is apparently everyone who works for Epic is making an insane amount of money. Like even the people who were the most dissatisfied, they're like, no, money is not the issue. Like, we are well paid. That's why people are reluctant to complain. It's more like it's unsustainable. Like, you will get sick and burn out with these hours. It's just, I don't understand. It's not an efficient way to make a game by any metric. So I don't really understand how it's turned into this, where that's not just expected, but that's like how games are made. That seems really not just unsustainable, but really like a very short-sighted and kind of silly way to make a game, especially the most successful game of all time. Well, or not all time, but currently.
You would think that they could come up with a better workflow to still provide, fast, responsive assets with the size of that company, right?
Yeah.
To provide assets in a not only timely but a responsive and fast manner while still maintaining some, like monochrome of life and viability, right? But that's what I mean. I don't think it's hard when these things come up, right? Because it just doesn't seem like these companies, like, employees are not valuable 12 hours into a day.
Right, exactly. Especially, and 20 hours even less so.
And 20 hours even less, right?
Or do not do your best work after 20 hours.
And that's what I mean. I think they know this, right? Like Like any time I've had to work late, super late with people, it's been like just go home. Like we can't even, like we can't
you're
even
not doing any good.
write anything that makes sense right now. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so it's hard to think that this is somehow Epic being like, no, you must stay all night so we can get everything out of you.
I think it's more. I mean, again, this is just like you said. It's one side, it's one article. But I think what I remember people saying is like, look, you have unlimited time off at Epic. It's one of those awesome companies. But they're like, but you cannot take it because then everyone else has to pick up your slack. Like you will, but you might not get fired for it, but you probably will eventually.
Never trust a company that gives unlimited PTO.
I know, but that's the kind of thing I'm saying. So like, you're right. You can go home, and that's what they would say. They'd be like, dude, just go home whenever you want. But if your work doesn't get in, you're definitely going to get fired. But of course you can go home whenever you want. Just work faster when you're here, Like, and I don't think anyone's, the CEO of Epic or whatever is sitting there like, let's make our employees. I think you're right that a part of it, it's like a self-perpetuating cycle where people want to be there. And the fact they pay well, they're happy to be there. And they work hard and they work long hours, which is great. There's nothing wrong with working long hours if that's what you want to do. But when it becomes an expectation and when the grind becomes so intense that that's the only way to get it done, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, I mean,
that's poor management.
It is. That's what I mean. That's what I was about to say.
It's bad producing.
In my experience, like those types of situations arise when you have middle managers that are bad middle managers, right? And like, instead of making decisive decisions, they're like, I don't know, give me mock-ups of everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? And they're just like...
Well, that's like what that BioWare article is about. It's the same thing. Like, no one really makes decisions.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, clear laser focus of, like, no, this is what we're doing. Let's all get on board here.
Yeah, so just do everything. It's like, what's that... When does that end? Like, like, how many things is that? And you're just like, I don't know, all of them. And it's like, I've been here for 10 hours. And it's like...
Yeah. Well, we got a deadline.
Well, that's your job, and it's like...
Yeah.
Well, how many more do I like? What do you need from me?
Well,
and I think that's when
I think you're right, and I think also, especially for a game like Fortnite, it does kind of have everything in it,
yeah.
which is sort of interesting. But Fortnite doesn't end, so at least when you're crunching on a game is over, like you're putting 100 hours on Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever. I still don't think that's how it should be done, but at least there's an end in sight. For these people working on Fortnite, there's no end. There's no like, cool, we can move on to a new project.
Yeah, I can just imagine a situation where it's like, oh, we need to release 2 skins a week,
right,
or 2 skins every 2 weeks or whatever, and it's like, so I want the art team, everybody just make a couple million. Yeah, I think the right thing to do is everyone make a couple concepts every week, and we'll flesh out the ones we want. And I think the reality, or what happens is poor middle management's like, we don't know what we're gonna do. What do you guys got? I hate all these.
Yeah.
These aren't right. So make one that's right. You know what I mean? With like no direction.
Like this, but better.
Yeah, like with no direction and no answer.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And it's like, well, now I need to create. I need to appease an expectation that is unpleasable.
Yeah.
I know there's a better word than unpleasable. Unobtainable. And I think, that's where you kind of create these like pits of just stress and anxiety where it's like, I'm never going to get this right.
Yeah.
I'm just spinning my wheels.
I'm wasting time. I'm wasting my mental energy. I should be sleeping right now for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm spinning my wheels, wasting time because I feel like if I go home, it's going to seem like I didn't try.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think I don't think that's the employee's fault necessarily.
I don't either. And I don't, I think that's one of those things that happens when you're succeeding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a good problem to have in a lot of ways.
And it's, it's one of those things where the microscope's not on, middle managers or supervisors that, they're achieving.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, like no scrutiny for you.
Yeah.
Where the reality is it's like, they're not achieving because they're doing the right thing. They're literally just like, they're spoiling your employees. You're not in a like spoiling like they're going bad.
Yeah,
they're letting your employees die on the vine to kind of cherry pick what they feel like is the best out of them.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. It's probably a lot of different things. That's why it's interesting to hear from these different companies like the different issues that plague them.
Yeah, but I think any creative endeavor, you know what I mean. You're going to constantly be battling with like this kind of mentality, right?
Especially one with such high stakes. Like there's so much money.
So much money involved.
And everyone's getting paid really well, which is good to hear. But even so, that I guess that's the other part that I found interesting is like, guess what? That doesn't solve the problem. Like just making sure everyone's really well compensated is good and admirable, but that does not solve the problem. Like people still, no matter how much you're paying them, they still have to sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they'll burn out or die or quit.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you can do both. You know what I mean? You can compensate people. You can have them work extra hard. I think most people are willing to.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, if you don't have boundaries, like just close your fucking office. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't let people do it. Like,
or just have a maximum amount of hours you're allowed to work.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, there's definitely common sense steps they could take to prevent this kind of thing. And they need to, and I'm sure after this they're looking to. But
I'm sure after they hear our podcast, they definitely will.
My advice, Epic, do not respond to Polygon. Make positive choices on your own.
Yeah.
Do not make a media statement saying what positive choices you're going to make. There is no winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
saw what happened
Games.
last time.
Yeah. Look at Riot Games. Like sure, but every time, every positive thing they try to do is met with, it's like you negotiate with a terrorist. You're never gonna win.
Yeah.
Just do good things.
Yeah.
Because they're the right things to do.
Read the article and take what you can from it, and then just do it.
Yeah, that's.
Although, did you hear what this dude said? The CEO of Epic.
No, what did he say?
He said, I wish you could probably look it up, but he said, once Steam starts paying developers as much as us, then we'll stop making games exclusive. That's what he said. And I was like, dude.
Was it Sweeney?
Yeah.
Fucking Tim Sweeney.
That was pretty weak. I was like, shut up. That's such a lie. Like, shut up, dude.
I'm so done.
No, he's just doing it because he cares, man. He doesn't care about money. He just is doing it because he cares about the developers. Right?
I'm so done with this whole...
It's bullshit.
Epic Steam thing.
Yeah, I know. And that's why when he said that, I was like, oh, shut up, dude.
Like, today, I actually tweeted... I don't know why I hit my Twitter. I don't follow any of these people. But, like, Satisfactory was tweeting out, which seems like a neat game. I guess someone said Steam or Pirate Bay, right? Like, it's the only one playing Satisfactory, right? And so they responded, like, X amount of people worked really hard on this. Be an adult and just don't play it. And I was just like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, my response, I literally just... I was in bed and I looked at this shit and I'm like, you took Epic's money. People ain't gonna be happy. Just be an adult and shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't care that you want to be an Epic exclusive. That's your business. You got the check. And honestly, people are gonna be grumpy. Kids are gonna talk shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't pretend like you're being victimized by this whole situation, right? Like, you wanted a payday. You did
which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine. You did some math and thought being on a more exclusive platform and getting a check for it was better than being on the widely distributed platform.
Which is fine, too,
which
if
is
that's
fine,
what you want to do.
But don't fucking cry.
Yeah.
Like, don't...
When people are mad about it.
Yeah. And don't tell them to do exactly what you need to do. Just shut the fuck up and be an adult.
Yeah.
Because that's 100% just everyone just needs to do that. And you know what? I expect more from your...
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
From your social media managers than I do from random Twitter
Totally.
kids, right?
Yeah, the adult Rose does not respond.
Yeah, just don't fucking respond. You got your check.
And also, what was accomplished by that? Like, were they trying to change this one dude's mind? Like, why bother?
You're just going to get roasted more.
Like now.
By everybody.
No, I agree. And I get it, like, being offended. Like, I get it. But there is something to be said about, like, hey, we did this. We're happy we did it. And we'll accept the feedback and the consequences. And we'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, honestly, if the response was, I'm sorry you guys are unhappy about how we decided to release the game.
But we're hoping we're hoping you get to try it.
Yeah, we
really
thought this would be the best for our company and our employees. And we hope you try it because we really like the game.
And we think you will too.
I would have been like, that's a great tweet.
Totally.
Right?
Also, I always think about this. Don't they have fucking other shit to tweet about? Like, isn't there a lot of other stuff to talk about?
Yeah.
Then, like, the negative. I never understand that either. Like, there's so much you should be doing. Positive marketing instead of trying to fight these wars. You can't win. You shouldn't be trying to win. And also, you can't. So why bother?
Yeah, it's like the dumbest thing. It's just the dumbest thing to get roped into.
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about this a lot. Like, just don't get roped in, man. Just silence. Silence is golden sometimes.
It's just it's so hard to just like watch this stuff and just be like, who's your fucking social manager? Like, get them off of
They probably don't have one. It's probably the CEO, man.
Probably is. It's probably Tim Sweeney.
It's probably he manages everyone's social media. Doesn't matter the company.
It's part of the exclusivity is you got to give Tim Sweeney your social media account.
Yeah, and you never know when he doesn't do all of it. You never know when he's gonna put something out.
You never know when he's gonna
because
tweet.
he just has access. He doesn't tweet everything, but
most of the time he lets your guy do it.
But once in a while he sometimes he deletes your stuff that you put out.
Except when there's typos. He never deletes those.
Yeah. Then he puts money behind it.
Why can't you edit typos on Twitter? It makes me...
I know.
I don't think I've ever put a tweet out that was good that didn't have a typo.
Yeah, of course.
Every shitty tweet is perfect.
And then you have to delete it and retweet it, and then you look like a huge asshole.
Yeah. Every tweet I do that no one likes is spelled perfectly.
Yeah.
The moment I typo something that's like retweet, I'm just like, motherfucker. Like,
they're trying to make you feel bad. That's why.
I hope so. Troll me all you want. All right. We don't need to spend forever other than I wanted to mention that Respawn had a shitty tweet today.
Oh, boy.
I should read the actual tweet because I don't want to paraphrase.
Yeah, I should have written down what Sweeney said, too.
I should write down a lot of things.
But we're busy guys, you know?
What's Q's Twitter? It's on his. Okay. An update from Apex Legends. This is from Q. I'm quoting. So
okay, cool. He'll like that.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to our show. Our long-term goal is to ensure Apex Legends always feels alive and thriving, with a focus on quality of content over novelty or speed of release.
Okay. At
the same time, we want to maintain our culture as a development team and avoid crunch that can quickly lead to burnout or worse. So that's clearly shots fired of what we were just talking about, right?
That is kind of like very opportunistic.
And, short but sweet. My only response is, fuck off, Respawn. You're letting your game die.
Yeah.
It's a great game, and you are dropping the ball. Don't claim that it's because you're morally superior.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a smart move. They're like, yeah, that's the reason we're not putting out any content.
Seriously.
We care too much about our employees' well-being. It's like, no, you're fucking working on Star Wars and you're being lazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're lazy.
No, they're not. But you know what I mean. Like, no, of course not. That was silly. But, I mean, the reason Fortnite is the most popular game in the world is because they're always putting out new shit constantly.
Yeah, people are working their fucking asses off.
Yeah. And the reason Apex is dropping, and I'm not saying you should emulate Fortnite's model. We just talked about it. That doesn't work. But yeah, I agree. You're not really in the position to be making this claim. Maybe you were when you first came out, but even then, you don't even know.
And let's be honest, people are working their ass off because they fucking love Fortnite.
Yeah, of course.
The people grinding out at Epic right now on Fortnite, at the soul of it, even if you told them not to or said you shouldn't, they would because they fucking love it. That game is blowing up. Yeah,
it's got to feel pretty good.
Nothing feels as amazing as having a thing you make just crush, just being everyone in the world's favorite thing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine how intoxicating that is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why management's job is to put limits on, how much of yourself you can put into that, because it's like a drug. You know what I mean? People are going to
go too far. Yeah.
Yeah, go too far. They're just going to be like, dude, I'm going to make the next, Triceratops skin. That's the girl dinosaur skin.
Okay.
It's super cute. I'm gonna make the next Triceratops skin that all the streamers are gonna want to use, right? And
that would feel pretty amazing.
And because it just feels amazing when Ninja wants to use the stupid skin you designed, right? Or everyone's playing the battle pass because they want the skin you made.
Yeah.
How hot must that be? How good must that feel?
Yeah.
And Respawn's just not putting that kind of energy into their game. It's clear.
But that's because they care too much, you see.
Yeah, it's because they love their employees too much to have that big dick energy to put into their game. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it is a balance, but it is kind of two sides of the same coin there.
Yeah.
Apex is what happens when you don't do enough.
Yeah, Kotaku, do me a favor, go interview some Respawn employees and see if they're all I want to work more. I love Apex. Vince just sends me home at 6 and I can't because he cares about my livelihood.
And he wouldn't let me go home and work.
Because if that's what comes out, then fine. Okay, I believe this tweet. But if it's no, we're just trying to work on Star Wars, which is likely is, then,
they're not working on Titanfall 3, that's for sure.
Respawn can fuck off. Because this is exactly what happened to Titanfall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what's so maddening about it is this is exactly what they did to Titanfall. As the numbers get smaller and smaller, they're just going to find less and less ways to justify putting effort into it, right? They're gonna, no one's playing it, so we can't put effort in it. You know, the game's dead. Like,
and which is, again, that's the opposite of what Ubisoft did. Like, imagine if they did that with Siege.
Yeah.
Like, dude, people actually didn't like this game that much, and we're not going to support it anymore. We're done.
I mean, even fucking Fortnite, as shitty as it was to swap over from what the game was to what it became, it's like you have to kind of believe in something to be willing to, like, devote your team to tweak it, rebuild it, and make it something new to try and grab an audience, right? And it just seems like, you know, they're not going to make a, you know, Apex Deathmatch or Apex 5-on-5s, you know, Apex Overwatch when it's not successful anymore. They're just going to let the thing fucking die.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, it's because they just don't care about it like that. You know, it's not treated with love, right? Not real love, like, you know, passion, I guess is a better word.
Yeah. I wish we could talk to some of the people who work there at Respawn just to get their take on it. It'd be so interesting.
Where is Respawn?
That's a good question.
Is
I don't know.
San Francisco?
I don't know.
I'll see if I can find a Respawn person.
That would be cool.
Maybe get some off the record.
That would be really interesting. Just because we can talk about all we want, but we don't work there.
Maybe I can get a little off the record tidbit here and there. All right, I got so carried away.
No, it's okay. It's an interesting thing. It's in the news.
What else were we going to talk about today? Oh, I mean,
Excuse me.
you can jump into this one since I haven't watched all the cutscenes and played the single player like you.
So let's talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat.
Get over here!
Whoa, that was really good.
Yeah, I'm Ed Boon. You didn't know?
I did not know.
Yeah, you know he does that voice.
Yeah, I did know that. That's cool. This is why you have so much insight into the business of games because you're Ed Boon.
I'm Ed Boon.
You run NetherRealm.
I love Mortal Kombat, guys.
Yeah, so I've talked before about how Mortal Kombat has a very soft spot in my heart. I love it. I think it's it's a perfect fusion of stupidity and hilariousness. And,
it is stupid,
and it's totally stupid, and they know it's stupid. And I think talk about passion. Like this, Ed Boon's been doing this for 30 years.
30 years.
More than that. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a really long time
to work on one franchise, and also a couple side franchises here and there. But it's clearly a work of passion.
They have Injustice.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. But anyway, so I played it, and it's fun. And the story mode I thought was interesting. I hear people talking about it. People are talking about it like it's super serious and really elevated. It's not. I don't know what the fuck these people are talking about. Like, it's cool, and I like it. And there are they do flirt with some more serious things, but it's still absolutely absurd. And I don't just mean absurd in the violence. I mean, like, it's dumb as hell.
But Shiva's not a slut in it, so I'm not in.
Shiva's not in it.
Yeah, she is.
I haven't seen her yet, but I haven't beaten it.
Oops.
They talk about her, though.
All I know is I saw a tweet, and it had a picture of original Shiva and Mortal Kombat 11 Shiva.
Yeah. Yeah, the people definitely look different.
And they were very angry that she wasn't in her little, you know, the little.
Why were they angry?
Right up the crotch. Because she's not, like, super hot anymore. She doesn't give you a boner.
But she's still she's just wearing more clothes. That's the only difference. And she looks, like, more realistic.
Yeah, she doesn't, I don't know. She wasn't doing it for me.
She doesn't do it for you? Yeah. Well, in that case, you're Ed Boon, so.
She's not my Shiva, hashtag.
It has been funny seeing these people that are now accusing Mortal fucking Kombat, which was the scourge of parents everywhere in the 90s, was considered, like, the most violent, horrific, child-destroying thing ever, is now being accused of being, like, left-wing propaganda. It's so funny to see how that happened.
Well, Mortal Kombat's so weird to me.
It is
right?
Weird. It is profoundly weird.
I'm saying, like, even in that context, right? Because the way they, like, dialed down on the sexuality, which is fine. Like, I don't care. I'm all for fan service. I'm all for people that make cool shit, making it however they want to make their cool shit.
Well said.
You know what I mean? I think that's my approach is, if you want to make these characters with their titties hanging out,
sure, and
jiggle physics and all that,
dicks hanging out, whatever,
dicks hanging out, Age of Conan, bro, I got that game, right? Yeah. Like whatever your vision is, whatever you think is going to be cool, like I'm down. Like let's give it a look.
I totally agree,
right? And so they decided that for Mortal Kombat, but it's like, it's so funny that it's like, I think it's more cultural. Like it's an indication of kind of America's cultural kind of hierarchy, that it's like,
yeah, the violence is fine.
Yeah, we're going to tone down all these titties in here.
Yeah, whoa.
But the violence and gore in Mortal Kombat 11 is literally hard for me to watch.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Like,
yeah,
I have a tough time watching that game be played.
Yeah.
And that's like never. I mean, I don't like scary games, so like I guess you could say that's the only other time I have a similar kind of reaction.
Yeah, where you want to look away.
Where I just don't want to look at it. But I have a hard time like looking at Mortal Kombat a lot. Like we were doing a stream in here and for the Newegg Plays, and we had Mortal Kombat like a reel running in the background the whole time, and I'm like, can we just turn this off? Like,
yeah,
we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
So there's just no reason
just unpleasant for you
to sit here and run this. Like, there's got to be people watching this right now that don't want this on their screen. Like, it's and let me be completely clear. Like I said with the sexuality and stuff, I think people should be free to make games with whatever they want in them, as violent and as gory as they want. I'm in no way saying that Mortal Kombat does not have its place, is not a good game, does not have its place in the world.
It's just not necessarily for you, or that aspect
but yeah,
of
that
it.
aspect of it definitely triggers in me a reaction that is kind of new to me for this type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not something I expected.
Well, I think Ed Boon would be very happy to hear you say that. I mean, that is sort of his thing, is he just likes to dial it all up. But I totally think you're right. It is an interesting choice that they chose to dial down one dial and dial up the other even further.
Yeah, it's almost like more so perverse in violence, right?
I almost wonder if it was sort of intentional.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd be interested to see if, like, okay. I mean, and it is funny. Like, I played Mortal Kombat 9, and the women look absolutely ridiculous. Like, they look. And like you said, like, hey, that's fine. Like, I played it. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I did. Like, whatever. I don't care. Either way is totally fine. You make whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. And then playing this one is, they're still wearing, like, it's not like they're not wearing hijab. Like, they're fine.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, is this Ed Boon's indictment on our view of sexuality?
That's kind of what I do wonder. And maybe we're overreaching, but I do feel like maybe that's what happened. Because even Mortal Kombat 10, which came out, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
There was none of that. And I don't think all of a sudden he was like, oh, like, there's definitely something going on here.
Yeah, it's not like he was like, well, tits are just too
I don't like them anymore.
Perverted. We just can't.
Yeah, I don't want to turn people off with this game. I don't want to, like, freak people out with Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, and I know, like, if he came out and said that, like, I understand even if that was his intention, like, saying it is so dangerous in this current climate to say, like, yeah, I was just fucking with you guys. I love doing these titty games, but, all you snowflakes are going to fucking cry about it, right? Like,
yeah.
But,
and he probably doesn't feel like that.
And he probably doesn't feel that way, right?
Yeah.
But I think you'd have to be an idiot not to realize that, this over violence, like this hyper violent.
Yeah, it's like beyond hyper violence. It's like I don't even know what the word is.
It's almost fetishizes violence in a way.
That is an interesting point you could make.
And so, like, this fetishization of, like, gore and violence and is so much more perverse. These women could be naked and just, like, jiggling, and it would be so much less perverted than the game is in its current form in a way.
No, that's a fair point. I do wonder sometimes what Europeans think. Like, when they're going to play Mortal Kombat, they'll be like, what is going on in America?
Yeah,
like what is happening? Their priorities are very bizarre.
Yeah, and it's. I think it's a strong indictment on kind of this country's views of violence and our skewed moral compass.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think it's funny though. I love that people are attacking Mortal Kombat for being too PC. Like, that does make me laugh. Just how times have changed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And they do some interesting, like, they do kind of vaguely dive into some interesting territory. Like, I'm sure you read, like, Johnny Cage confronting his younger self as, like, a stupid misogynist prick, and he has, like, he's grown up and he has a daughter, and, like, there's some, they touch on some interesting stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think Mortal Kombat is the vehicle to tell, like, compelling coming of age stories, nor was it intended to be at any point.
I was watching a review on Mortal Kombat, and they were talking about how no one's ever liked Johnny Cage, and I'm like, I've always loved Johnny Cage. Like, in that hateable way, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's fun.
He's always been so great.
He's like Cersei Lannister,
Yeah, he's like Cersei Lannister.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, there's like there's this, and it's funny, like, yeah, like Cersei Lannister. I feel like there's this this kind of mania, like internally for them that is, like, fantastic.
Yeah,
and, like, kind of,
and, like, pretty divorced from their reality.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
They're
to
almost,
like
pretty much insane.
It's fun to go for that ride, right? Where they're just like, where's the elephants? And you're like, yeah, where's your fucking elephants, man?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones watcher.
No, for sure.
But
I'm there.
it's kind of a meme, right? It's the elephant thing.
Yeah.
But that kind of triggers that same thing for me. If it's just like, it's so ridiculous a statement. It's so fantastical. And it's so clear that that character believes it.
Yeah.
That
It's hard not to be charmed.
It's charming and fun to like see through their eyes and see that like craziness, right?
Yeah.
Like happening. But yeah, it's just too funny.
It is a shame though about these microtransactions.
I thought you were gonna say the titties.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder a little bit about like alternate skins, because skins are a huge part of it, which kind of segues in. Like, I don't know for a fact that there's not going to be anything skimpy. It's not like he said there isn't.
Fingers crossed.
Sure. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, why not have the option?
I'm not even gonna play the game.
Why not have the option? Like, I do think it's important to provide options. Like, I could see how it would be annoying if you didn't want to see scantily clad women. If those are your only options,
yeah,
it could be annoying. And again, you're totally right in that if that's what the creator wants to make, don't fucking play the game if you don't like it. That's totally valid.
Yeah.
But there's no reason not to, have some costumes that aren't.
Yeah, I mean,
for that matter.
Same way. Like, I'm not gonna play the game because it gives me a bad heebie-jeebie violent feeling,
sure.
Right? But that's,
you're not going to say, I wish they changed this to appeal to my very specific taste.
Like it shouldn't exist or should be made for me. But I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of things you can unlock in that game, so.
Yeah, it sounds like I haven't gotten into that. I really am just playing through the story, but it sounds like they kind of butchered that side of it, which is too bad. But again, these are the kinds of things they can fine tune. Although it's starting to feel like people try and see how much they can get away with.
Always.
Which feels weird to me.
I think that's the crummiest part about it.
Especially with Mortal Kombat, just because it's a series that I've always found to be so like sort of open in its intentions, and it's so like I know it sounds weird, but it's so almost like childish in terms of it's like, here's Mortal Kombat, yay! It's so not insidious, despite the subject matter. It's almost like it's always felt like kind of a bastion of sort of what's the word? Like
kind of like a joyfulness.
Yeah, I know, which is such a funny word to use for Mortal Kombat, but in a way, it's there. It's so like it's clearly a passion project. It's so goofy and like
even
sweet.
The original live action mocap.
Totally,
was so,
everything about it. They even had a character named Mocap.
Yeah,
like there's something really cool. So I was a little bummed out to hear that they're going down this sort of sleazy road. Not like they're pioneers of it by any means, but
do you have
it didn't make me
Netflix?
sad. Yeah, of course.
There's an anime on Netflix called High Score Girl. Have you heard of it?
No.
You should watch it just for fun. Like, I'm not saying it's like seriously like a great show.
Yeah,
because it turns into very like anime like romance kind of stuff, but it's based on this girl or this boy is the main character, right? And he plays Street Fighter 2. So it's set in like I guess that would be early 90s.
Yeah,
right?
like 93.
Yeah. And in like Japanese arcades all the time. And he's making a run, he's smashing everybody in the arcade. And they play on those, one at a time across machines, not the two up side by sides. And this girl sits at the one. He doesn't see her, but he gets beat, right? But it goes into these very like detailed like texts in the game,
that's
like
cool.
He picks Guile after he loses, and does like the crouching sonic boom and then kick when they jump over it spam to like cheese her, so he finally wins, right? And which is really funny. But there's a scene where they get a Mortal Kombat cabinet in the arcade.
Oh, interesting.
And like the girl wants to play it, and just like even that, it was like this very like the way they view it, especially from a Japanese perspective.
No,
it's
that's
not
awesome.
A Japanese game.
No, yeah, for sure.
But just like the way they're like idolizing the cabinet art because it's so crazy with like the rating on the side, the Mortal Kombat, and like
that's cool.
The live action mocap characters and everything. They're just like, oh, this is like the epitome of like just craziness. You know what I mean? And
it's like how we feel about Japanese games.
Yeah, it's how we feel about a lot of Japanese
like
games.
Devil May Cry, yeah.
But especially in that era, like Japanese games weren't like that at all. Like,
no,
especially their arcade cabinets were very like, this is the cutting edge of technology, right? So it's like this is Virtual Fighter, this is 3D and Tekken, and you could sidestep in and out of the space, and having it's just so funny when you said that. It just totally brought back like, oh yeah, like they were so celebratory of seeing these Mortal Kombat cabinets because they were like this joyous, like celebration,
exuberant,
like this is a celebration of game development, right? Like, and Midway was so big with it. Like, NBA Jam was the same way. Blitz kind of had that feeling. Like there was definitely this excitement around those games.
Yeah, they're games. They're like video games.
Yeah.
You know?
So seeing them get like weighed down with this like just this whole conversation.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially because by almost every account, and I'm not a big fighting game person. Like I'm not an expert, but by almost every account I've heard from people I trust, it's like it's a goddamn good fighting game. Like everything about this core is like 10 out of 10. It's just burdened by this huge thing, which again, from what I understand, you can just completely avoid if you want. Like if you're just interested in fighting, you can. It's not like
I think what's crummy is
like
it's
to
got
unlock
that
characters. You need to pay money.
It's got that kind of like the gotcha system for like skins, right?
Like checks.
And like we were saying before, it's like choice, right? Like if you want to play a certain skin, you want to see certain things.
Yeah.
Then you want to be able to unlock the things that kind of appeal to your senses. And it just doesn't let you do that.
Yeah.
Like you have to keep unlocking random chests and hoping to hit what you want. And if not, you spend more currency to relock the chest.
And a lot of it's RNG, which is really not okay.
Yeah,
at all.
of it. And it's a $60 game. Like Apex's monetization really bothers me, right? Like the way they do their packs, the fact that you stop earning those packs and they're all random, and there's a ton of trash in the game to kind of prohibit you from getting good drops. All that stuff drives me nuts. But at least it's free.
Yeah.
And to see that stuff hit Mortal Kombat, which is $60, which I think, to be honest, and this is going to sound crummy, is a lot for a fighting game right now.
Yeah.
Like just in the current climate.
Even one with like really, high quality single player stuff. I agree.
Even a great fighting game. It's it's a lot. And that's not to minimize fighting games, but it's just so crazy to have this kind of gotcha system piled on top of your already kind of premium entry price.
And I totally agree. And it sucks too because like a part of what I loved about the last few Mortal Kombats is the unlocking system's awesome. Like it's like a tour through the history. You get unlocked these chests with in-game currency, and it was fun. You like look up which chests you want, and it was great. But all of that was before you had before real currency was at all involved. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll fine tune it down. I'm a little bummed out that it's like I said, that we have to have this conversation all instead of just being like, holy shit, the new Mortal Kombat's incredible.
Yeah, like why. It just seems with this game specifically, like if it didn't have this, everyone would be celebrating.
It would be like, people exactly instead of having this like cloud over it.
Yeah, everyone would be so excited about it right now.
So anyway, it's fun though. I'm having a blast with it.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you like it because I did enjoy playing.
Its spirit is very much intact,
and I could see myself kind of finding my way back to it. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unsettling.
It is. That's fair. It doesn't bother me, but I could totally see why it's not for everyone. Just like anime titties aren't for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're for everyone with a soul.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I'm just saying. You've offended me. I'm
really sorry, man.
I'm done with this show.
I apologize forever. That was
it. The last episode.
This is the final one. The final countdown.
I wrote down in the contract if you ever said anime titties aren't for everyone. That was going to end
only
the show.
that though.
Only that. That was the only
Damn
statement
it.
that
I could have said it so differently.
That could not be said.
Well, actually, speaking of anime,
have
you been following this Persona 5 news?
Dude, shut your mouth. I'm so mad.
So tell me why you're so mad. I'm curious.
So Joker comes to Switch. Everyone's talking about.
I know. We're thinking
Persona 5 is going to come to the Switch.
And why wouldn't it?
Why would I own Persona 5?
It could easily run on it.
I was about to buy Persona 5 again. I was ready.
Yeah.
My body was ready to spend another $60 on Persona 5. I bought it I waited to get it for PS4. So I only paid $20 there.
Nice.
So I was just like, yeah, I'll spend $60 this time. It's an amazing game.
It is.
Right? I'm ready. I bought Joker. I don't even play Smash anymore.
Same here.
I don't care. I gotta be Joker.
Yeah,
right?
I gotta own him. I bought Smash, took it home, downloaded Joker, played for like 5 minutes, and I haven't played it since.
We can play together.
We should. But anyway, my point is like that's how much I love Joker.
We should do a video where we play Smash.
I'm down. I suck.
Joker versus Joker.
Well, let's do it.
Okay. That way you always get to see the Joker end screen. But so the game comes out, or they announced that they're making the Smash game or the
Persona.
I'm so tilted right now.
He's pissed.
They announced they're making a Persona game.
He's frothing at the mouth
for the freaking Switch, and it's a Musou game.
Yeah, it was pretty out of nowhere.
If you guys don't know what a Musou game, it's a Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah, or Link. Zelda had one too. Hyrule Warriors. Right?
Yeah, they've ruined every franchise.
It's basically you're one character and you just take on trash mobs, and I mean like hundreds of thousands of like just you're basically just murdering entire armies of foes.
You're just mashing buttons to do special moves and knock all these foes in the air,
which I'm sure is fine. But I'm not sure what the fascination with like taking franchises and shoehorning it into that is.
It's just that there's a company that has an engine to do these things,
and it can just import assets and spit out.
And they I'm sure they tweak the asset, they import it, tweak it, and then just spit it out over and over and over again, right? And it's fucking garbage. It makes me so mad. Like, I don't care if they made a different Persona game, just anything else, something original, a dancing freaking game.
So how come? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. How come the dancing games don't bother you? Like, what's the difference in terms of why don't those make you angry?
Well, I think for one, it's not the only way to play the game on that platform.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? Like they really were like, oh, you're never gonna believe what's coming to.
And they were right. You didn't believe it, did you?
You'll never see it coming. They even quoted the fucking song. They even quoted the song.
Your favorite song.
It's such a good song.
It is.
And they twisted.
They used it for evil.
They twisted those beautiful words for evil deeds. Oh,
you know what you should do? You should delve into their consciousness and give them a change of heart.
They need a change of heart.
Maybe that's what this is all about.
The Phantom Thieves are coming.
No, it was definitely disappointing. I was pissed. But the good news is the other side of this announcement.
There's no news that could cheer me up.
No, there is. This will.
No.
Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, what's that?
So Persona 5. You remember you played Persona 4?
Is that a Battle Royale?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's making that joke.
Oh.
You played Persona 4.
Yeah.
Did you play Persona 4 Golden?
Yeah.
So Persona 4 Golden was Persona 4 with a bunch of shit added in?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Ooh.
So it's not only they don't add a new character, unfortunately, which would have been cool, but I think with how complex that game is, that would be pretty difficult.
I heard something about I thought they were going to do a girl character.
So in Persona 3, they added a female character, which is awesome. That totally changes the game. They couldn't do that in 4, and they really couldn't do it in 5. As much as it'd be cool, it would require so much work. You might as well make a new game at that point.
They should have just made Joker a girl.
Yeah, if you could just choose. But you'd have to re-record a lot of lines.
Everything else the same.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's one way to do it.
Joker's a pretty man.
He is. Yeah, it'd be very easy. Just give him long hair. You wouldn't even be able to tell. Anyway.
He'd be a real cutie, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about those androgynous characters. It doesn't really matter.
I'm just saying.
He's just saying. But they're adding new confidants. They're adding new areas. They're adding a bunch of quality of life stuff too. So you can they make fast traveling easier. You can schedule events instead of having to go to places.
Oh, that's nice.
There's apparently Morgan turns into a person. You can see a screenshot of him.
What?
He looks amazing.
Is he a boy?
Yeah. So anyway, it's essentially
there was a part where they assumed he was a boy and he was a girl or something.
No, they assumed he was a girl because he sounds like a girl, but he's not. He's a cat.
Yeah.
Anyway, you should check out the trailer. There are all kinds of new stuff. There's a new character who's like a gymnast, and she seems like she works with the cop, Goro Akechi. No, Chie's not in the game. Sorry. Chie's whack, man. I don't know why you like her so
You're
much.
fucking whack. How dare you? This is the only other thing I said you could never say.
I really was setting you on this one. I apologize.
Oh God.
I don't know, guys. I might not be back for episode 15. I really, I didn't know how strongly you felt about anime.
This is the worst day ever.
But anyway, it genuinely is cool, and that's something you can absolutely buy Persona again. It's not going to be on Switch, though.
This is the worst
so fuck
day.
you. Although, they haven't said it's not going to be on Switch.
That helps a little. Like, I don't want to throw up.
It kind of annoys me because I'm like, now I have to play through the whole game again. But only 20% of the content's new, so... I wonder if I can do a New Game Plus with the new shit. That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
But anyway, if you are going to play Persona 5, I would recommend waiting. It comes out in Japan the end of the year, and it'll be in the United States early next year.
Personas are so slow with like the first, every one, like the onboarding.
Yep.
Even 4, man.
No, 4 is worse.
Getting to the
4
first
is way
dungeon
worse than 5
and playing through the first dungeon is always like, it gets flowing after that.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's just like, it's always so rough.
Especially the first, if you've never played a Persona game. Like now you kind of know that, so you know what to expect. But when I first played 4, I was like, what?
Like, is this whole game this? Like, it's... Like, I've not fought anything, you know? Like, at least, I will say this, at least in 5, it starts with a flash forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So at least you get to,
with cool music and
see what the game is for a minute.
Yeah, that was a smart move.
Before they rip it all away from you.
Yeah.
But, fuck, man. I'm still upset.
Well, who cares? Just don't play it.
You're right. I need to be an adult.
But you can play Royal. And you haven't beaten Persona 5, so you should just wait.
No, I have to wait.
And just wait, and then you can do it all. And you're going to have an even better experience than I did. What's crazy is apparently they add a whole new semester. And the game's already long as hell, which
Super
is
long.
not a bad thing. But they're making it even longer, which is
I just can't believe
shocking.
it's a Musou game. Like, that's what drives me nuts.
But again, I don't understand how it's worse than a dancing game.
Dancing games are fun.
So this is purely personal preference. But why are you angry? You make it sound like they did something immoral.
It isn't moral.
How so?
How is it?
They
not?
made a game that I don't particularly enjoy the type of game it is.
It's not. That's not. That's not the.
Does it feel like a cheap cash in to you? Like it's cheapening the name?
It feels like the worst thing they do to any game. Is making
yeah,
it a
Hyrule
Musou
Warriors
game.
did not. Yeah,
They
it
did
was a
it
weird.
to,
It was a weird idea.
They did it to Zelda.
They did it to Berserk.
They did it to Berserk.
Remember
Terrible
that?
game.
Yeah, I
They
played
did
it because I love Berserk and I hated it.
They did it to what Fate. I can't even think right now.
He's so mad his brain
I
doesn't
can't
work.
even think right now. The Nintendo
Oh, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem. Yeah.
Yeah,
They did it to Fire Emblem. They did it to something else too. I think.
yeah.
It's just they're just never.
I did hear that they're doing a Symphony of the Night one with Alucard, where he.
Dude, you need to fucking shut your mouth right now.
Actually, now that I think about it, that could kind of work.
I mean, that's what they do. Everything works, right? Because it's Hero, bunch of shitty bad guys,
And you just bloop.
and you just like.
I've actually never played one, but they do look very boring.
I've played one.
Did you play? This is totally off
I
topic.
played Dynasty Warriors. I haven't played.
Yeah, that's like the OG, right?
Yeah, like I
That's
haven't
like their
played
main
the-
series.
I haven't played these bastardizations they make.
Real quick, just because I'm curious, did you ever play that Castlevania fighting game on the Wii?
No,
Damn, I was just curious.
that
Sucks.
Also, an abomination.
Well, again, it's one of those things. Like in theory, that kind of makes sense, but it's so bad. It's 3D. Ugh, it's rough.
No, like and that's the thing too. Like shoehorning stuff just sucks.
Well, you could have said that about Smash. That works. I don't like it, but it works.
But Smash
It wasn't lazy.
it's not. Yeah, it's not lazy. It's not being shoehorned. It's Smash. Even in its original iteration,
Yeah,
was
very much its own thing.
and it wasn't. And honestly, it was its own thing before it had Nintendo characters in it.
Yeah, no, you're right. If they could have put brand new characters in, it still would have been really
They
fun.
did. I mean, initially when they made Smash, it wasn't.
No, I didn't know that.
It wasn't like the first party All Stars game.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
They pitched it as just like a fighting game or like a
Yeah.
like a
Party,
like a
4-player
spin on
party
a
game,
fighting
yeah.
game, right? And they added the Nintendo characters.
I had no idea.
Like that was just kind of like they made it and they didn't have characters in it and they were pitching it, so they just like threw Mario in it
Wow.
as like
Like check it out, Nintendo. You recognize him?
and like like here's some character like
Oh,
like
that's
they
so
didn't
cool. I didn't
make
know that.
characters
Yeah.
until they did and they're like, oh, we love this.
That's
so they just
awesome.
Put all the Nintendo games in.
And now Joker's there.
And now Joker's there.
It's amazing.
I never saw it coming.
Never saw it coming.
I never saw it coming.
Y'all, if you take one thing away from this, play Persona 5. It's sick.
Yeah, or at least listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's on YouTube. It's good.
Yeah. The Smash Brothers.
Switch.
Smash Bros has a great behind the mask cover.
Mm-hmm.
That's like high speed.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's super good.
It
I love
really
that.
is.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it.
Okay. We gotta wrap up soon, but before we do, there's one thing I want to talk about.
I'm ready.
Days Gone, bro. Woof.
Oh, yeah. So what were your thoughts on it? Like,
Before,
yeah, or
Look,
did you have any? Because
I-
it seems like most people were just like, that doesn't look good.
I never thought it looked good. I mean, I will say, leading up to this point, it just never looked like a great game.
It never looked like it had anything original, which apparently is the case.
Yeah, it just didn't look like any business coming out.
Has no business as existing. Well, it's like I was telling you, I think there is a huge hole for, there's not enough open world games with a bunch of collecting shit, and there's not enough zombie games. So this was filling a niche that I think,
It's true.
the people have been asking for.
Zombies are underrepresented. In
And
our culture.
there's not enough open worlds.
You got a point. You got a point. But
Now, it looks just terribly generic.
I will say, like, I watched Giant Bomb's quick look of it. They were a little more positive about the game.
Yeah.
And, I think there are people that will enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure.
It seems like
There's
a
people
fine
who enjoy
game.
every game.
It seems like a fine game. The sound work seems good. Visually, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying it's bad.
Some
They're just
people
saying
like
it's-
motorcycles. There's a motorcycle.
That's true.
And it's. I guess there's interesting stuff to it. I mean, if you're really into single player, fill up your skill chart, then collect the stuff,
and play Odyssey. I promise you, it's better.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah,
but no, I think you're right. There is something to be said about. Yeah, look, I'm sure it's a totally fun, fine open world game.
If you're the guy that beat all the Assassin's Creed games, you've already beaten Odyssey. You beat Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're just that dude.
Yeah.
You'll probably like this game.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It seems competent.
It seems, very competent.
It does look great.
Some performance issues I've seen, but from what I watched live, it looked fine. I didn't see any, it wasn't breaking or anything.
Yeah.
Some of the, quick time events seem a little monotonous, a lot of tapping.
Yeah.
Which is not something I think is good, especially for accessibility. But, because I don't want to serve a purpose, right?
It's not. It does not make the game better.
No. Regardless, it seems like that's the thing. Like, that's why I just want to throw it in, because it just seems adequate.
Yeah, which is almost, in some ways, that's almost worse than it's definitely a game. I bet this game's going to drop off people if it's on anyone's radar. Like, I bet we won't even talk about it next week.
Yeah, it's like
not because we hate it, just because we forgot.
It's a hard 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Well made. Yeah. Decent game.
Yeah. It's cool. And you said this morning. I think you were absolutely right. It's the kind of thing you'll notice it's free on PlayStation Plus, and you'll be like, oh, cool. I'm going to download this. And then play it for an hour and be like, nice.
Yeah.
And never play it again.
Yeah, it'll go on sale. It'll be $30 and you'll buy
20
it.
And you'll be like, cool. Oh, this is fun for $20.
You have nothing to do for a weekend. Yeah. Like, I could definitely see being a kid and seeing this game pop up at GameStop or something. Yeah. And being like, oh, yeah, I heard about this game. I'm going to give it a shot. And
it's the kind of game you'd rent back in the day when you could rent games.
And playing the shit out of it for a weekend because it's the game I have.
And having fun with it.
And being fine with it.
Yeah. And then, it's not going to change your life. But it's true that we've gotten kind of spoiled where it's like either games are terrible or they're fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think
this is just like it's a fine game.
I think the thing we forget in this culture of gaming is that there are a lot of games that come out that we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And those are the 5s.
Yeah.
Right? And so we only talk about 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah.
And so when a 7 gets thrown in our face as like a big release, we're like, this is trash.
Especially Sony,
who like rarely does this.
Yeah.
We're so quick to just hate it.
Yeah, there's gonna be articles starting tomorrow. There probably already says what went wrong.
Yeah,
fucking nothing went wrong. It's totally fine. Yeah, it's just not It's not God of War.
Yeah, it's not God of War. And you know what? I'll be honest. If this was an Xbox exclusive, it'd be their best one.
Yeah, that's harsh, but I think that might be true.
What does Xbox put out that's even close?
Sea of Thieves, bro.
Yeah,
have you seen that water?
Yeah, Xbox. Like, Sony's so good at making games.
That's true.
That their 7s seem like disasters.
Yeah, would you rather play Days Gone or Crackdown 3?
Yeah, seriously. I'd play Days Gone for 100 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I'd rather play the first Crackdown again.
Oh, anyway, yeah. I mean,
I'll just do that.
Just because you're a smart guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hey, if anyone out there likes Days Gone or has, neither of us has played it, to be fair.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
So
I've only watched people.
If you guys have thoughts on it, that'd be interesting to hear from someone who either really likes it or has played it or was looking forward to it and is disappointed or,
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are just like, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, I like the characters.
I'd love to hear why. Yeah.
The voice acting seems great.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks pretty good.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is one thing I want to talk about in Mortal Kombat. And everyone said this, but it's totally true. The voice acting is so on point. It's really amazing, except Ronda Rousey does such a piss poor job. And bless her heart, she's not a voice actor. Yeah. So it's kind of silly to expect her to be. But, man, it's so funny. Like, it's so apparent. Luckily, spoiler alert, she's not in the game for very long. So
I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately. I don't know. It's just on Hulu.
Oh, is it?
And, for some reason.
That's probably the way to watch it.
Yeah, and, I know, that Kofi Kingston guy, I follow Austin Creed on Twitter, and I know Kofi Kingston became champ, and so I was like, oh, it seems like an interesting storyline time. WrestleMania just finished, so I watched some wrestling, and she's not good at that either.
Yeah,
acting isn't her.
Yeah, she's good at fighting.
She's good at fighting people,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
but she's not a good actor.
So you see her even when she delivers for WWE, it's very forced and contrived.
Yeah.
And
and it's funny in this because all the other actors are so good. Like her daughter Cassie's Mom, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yes, It's just there's such a clear differential in quality. It's interesting.
It's so funny on our stream we were playing Mortal Kombat. There's like I don't know if it's a brutality for Cassie or something, but she finishes the fight. Merzu is just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
it's so good.
She does say that.
It's so like it's a great F-bomb.
Yeah,
like it was sexy. Like in a way, like you know what I mean?
Fuck you.
It was so like hard and like real and like just totally like right.
Yeah,
that's kind of sexy, man. Because it's not like she's like, it's not like this.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's not like this line, this like canned line. It's just like
it's like someone just like accidentally bumped into the voice actress right before she recorded it.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah, it's like someone cuts you off or something.
Yeah,
like, fuck you, man. You know, it's like such a natural thing. That's like that's great. Like that's super great.
I love the fuck you in Resident Evil 2. Leon says it sometimes, but he says it at apparently pretty random times. So you'll just be walking and you'll like, shoot his arm in the leg, he'll fall over, and then he'll wait a couple seconds and he'll go, fuck you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Why? What? Who are you talking to?
Great, but some of those like the like I'm aiming at you or I shot you, so here's a
they're like
whip.
They're a little off.
Is like they're so strange.
It just adds to its charm for me.
And I get like it's hard to time those things, especially in a game that's like
I don't think it's that hard. People do it all the time
because they're not canned.
Oh,
like, I think the way they like generated the like the events happening.
Yeah.
Because they're all kind of naturally evolving. That like you don't want it to happen only when you kill a zombie or only when X or Y happens. So there's kind of this logic running where it's like aiming, or
reloading or whatever,
right? And
so, that's true.
So there's kind of this like randomness to them that is cool and also like completely wrong sometimes. Yeah, but that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, no, to me it just adds to its charm.
Yeah, it's a very charming game.
It is.
Okay, well, with that, we should wrap it up here. Thank you guys for listening. Please, if you want to email us, techyeahpodcast@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. And stick around. We're going to put up a show after this where we're going to talk about some cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stick around because it's not going to be on the podcast.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't mean stick around. I meant check it out.
Yeah.
Go find it.
Tech Yeah Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. Tech Yeah Podcast. You got to search it on YouTube. They don't give you custom URLs.
Yeah. But you guys are good at it. You know how to do it.
Yeah, you guys know.
You know the deal.
You guys know how this works. You're not dummies. That's why you listen to the show.
Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we love you a bunch. Thanks, guys.